Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my breakdown of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've got one simple question to ask you. Do you want to talk football? Because if so, you're in the right place. There's this button right around here. See it, see it, see it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Now, before I start my breakdown, there's a lot of NFL players are opting out of the season. Some trades have happened recently. You know, the Jamal Adams trade, for example. I did my breakdown of the Jets before the Jamal Adams trade. Here's how this is going to work, is that after I break down all 32 teams, before the season kicks off, if it does kick off as scheduled, I will do video breakdowns of the teams upcoming to the season. And then, of course, unlike most channels, I put my money where my mouth is. I will actually show you the bet slips and show you the bets that I actually placed on each team. That way you can actually see what kind of profits or losses I'm making for each NFL team. So get that out of the way now. Now, here's how my Dallas Cowboys breakdown is going to work. I'm going to break down what I like about the Cowboys. Then I'm going to talk about what I don't like, but stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under. And if I am going to put action down the Dallas Cowboys. Now, let's start the video off with what I like about the Dallas Cowboys. The first thing, and the number one thing I like about the Dallas Cowboys, is the draft. I mean, this was just an A-plus draft. Now keep in mind, just because you get good draft value on a player doesn't mean he's going to be a great player. But as far as pure draft value, the Cowboys may have had the best draft value in the draft. And I could go through all 7 of their picks. All 7 of their picks are going to make the team. And then I think their top 6 are going to impact 2020. Their last pick, the 7th round pick, is quarterback James Madison, who I actually kind of liked a little bit. He's a good developmental quarterback, but keep in mind he signed Andy Dalton. You got Dak Prescott. Ideally, he does not even look at the field in 2020. But their first 6 players, all of them are going to contribute, and all of them should have been drafted earlier in the draft. Tyler Bedes, I called him Tyler Badass. It's kind of funny because you traded with Philly of all teams to get him. You got him with the last pick in the 4th round. With Travis Frederick retiring, you tap into another Wisconsin Badger center. There's a chance he's your day 1 starter, and you get that pick from Philly. So that's kind of funny. But this was a great draft from the Dallas Cowboys. Even if these players don't pan out, it's excellent draft value. I cannot emphasize what an A-plus job the Cowboys did in the draft. But the thing is that you got players that you needed. Now, you may say you didn't need a wide receiver, but that brings me to the second thing that I like about Dallas Cowboys is the offensive skill position talent. You bring in Mike McCarthy. Well, he used a lot of 3-4 wide receiver sets, so you already have 2. You need a 3rd. Well, you get one. And CeeDee Lamb was good enough that I think out of the 17 teams that had the first 17 picks, CeeDee Lamb walks into 10 of those teams as the best receiver day 1. He's that good. And now he's not going to be the number 1 receiver for Dallas, even though they did give him 88, which I think is kind of cool. But bottom line, the skill position talent that you have in Dallas is amazing, all right? Blake Jarwin really stepped up at tight end. They're not going to miss Jason Witten. Ezekiel Elliott still, I think, a top 5 running back. You want to say top 10? Doesn't matter. You have a top-tier running back, 2,000-yard receivers, plus arguably the best wide receiver in the draft. If you're going to run this type of offense, you need 3 good receivers. Well, Dallas got them. So the third thing I like about the Dallas Cowboys is even with Travis Frederick retiring, this is still one of the best offensive line units in football. I did a video on Atlanta. They gave up 50 sacks. Dak Prescott's pass attempts went up dramatically. I'm going to talk about that here in a bit. But Dak Prescott threw 596 passes. He was sacked 23 times. Yes, that's less than half of 50. So Atlanta can take a page out of the Dallas playbook. But this is one thing I've always liked about the Dallas Cowboys, is that the Dallas Cowboys have always put a premium on the offensive line. They've always made sure that they have a good, solid offensive line. Even though you take away Travis Frederick, you trade with Philly of all teams, and there's a good chance Tyler Badass is your center. And it's also kind of cool you get Wisconsin Badger. So I like that. Even if he's not your starter, you still used a draft pick on a player should have been drafted before the 4th round to help on your offensive line, which is still a strength of your team. Fourth and final thing I like about the Dallas Cowboys is I love the linebacking core. Jalen Smith. I have a man crush on Sean Lee. I love Sean Lee. And then I'm just going to say LVE. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name. LVE has all the makings, even though he was banged up a little last year. If he's able to stay healthy, he has all the makings of a potential Hall of Fame caliber linebacker. Sean Lee probably doesn't make the Hall of Fame, but he's such a damn good player. Basically, he wouldn't make the Hall of Fame if he didn't have multiple injury concerns throughout his career. And Jalen Smith has really turned on as being one of the best linebackers in football. In my opinion, there's not three better linebackers in football than what the Dallas Cowboys have. They're athletic, they're fast, they can be used in multiple formations. Another point I'm going to get to here in a little bit. But just to recap the big things that I like about the Dallas Cowboys. Number one, fantastic job on the draft. Arguably the best draft out of all 32 teams. Easily top 3 or 4. Just a fantastic draft. Offensive skill, position, talent. You need multiple wide receivers to run this offense. So you have that. Number 3, the offensive line. And then maybe the best 3 linebackers in football. In my opinion, there's not 3 better. But you want to argue that with me? Drop a comment below. Give me 3 linebackers on another team that's better. I want to hear from you. So now let's talk about what I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys. With what I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys is kind of hard to really put into sections, because basically the long and short of what I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys is that for 2020, this is like putting a square peg in a round hole. Mike McCarthy brings in you have to judge what Mike McCarthy did in Green Bay, where he threw the ball about 70% of the time. They have a passing offense with multiple wide receivers and a lot of back shoulder throws. Well, when I look at the Dallas Cowboys, when they were 13-3 4 years ago, when Dak Prescott was a rookie, he threw the ball 459 times. He had a 67.8% completion percentage, very good, best of his career, and they went 13-3. Well, the next year, a variety of injuries and some other factors, the completion percentage dropped to 62.9. Threw the ball 31 times more, 490, and they still had a winning record, 9-7. 2 years ago, the completion percentage jumps up to 67.7. Threw the ball 526 times. Again, a jump about, this time it's 36 more, but still low attempts. And they went 10-6, had a playoff win. Those 3 years, Dak Prescott threw for less than 4,000 yards. Last year, he threw for 4,900 yards, and his pass attempts went up to 596. So you go from a 31 increase, 36 increase to 70. All right? And the Dallas Cowboys don't have a winning record. They go 8-8. Everybody gets fired. So here's the thing. The Cowboys it seems very obvious to me that you have a team that's built with a powerful offensive line, a really good running back, and an athletic, big-armed quarterback who can use play-action fake. He can run the ball, and that's how you build your team. So then you hire a coach who wants to do the complete opposite. So that's why I don't get it. And because you didn't sign Dak Prescott to a long-term deal, McCarthy's not sold on him. To be honest, when they signed Andy Dalton, I was expecting to see a lot of Andy Dalton in preseason. Of course, that didn't happen, but Andy Dalton's almost a better fit for McCarthy's scheme than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott doesn't really fit this scheme. How do I know? Because when he runs the ball more, he has more success. The numbers prove it. All right? And so I was really confused when they bring in Mike McCarthy and then have him go with Dak Prescott. Okay, well, you're going to make this work. Well, you're not going to make it work because you're not signing him to a long-term deal, so you're obviously not sold on him. So the offensive scheme, to me, doesn't seem to be a good fit for what the Cowboys are built for. And the Cowboys, how'd you win 3 Super Bowls? Big offensive line, running the football. So how do you build your team? Big offensive line, running the football. But let's hire a coach who wants to do just the opposite. That doesn't make any sense. Then he brings in his guy, Mike Nolan. Now, him and Mike Nolan have known each other, and that's smart. You bring in a guy that you know, that you trust to run your defense when you're an offensive guy. Now, Mike Nolan didn't have success as a head coach, but the fact that he has head coaching experience, I think makes him more valuable as a defensive coordinator. That's a good move. The problem is he's always run a 3-4. The Cowboys have a Tampa 2 defense they've been running for the last several years. I can tell you as a Chiefs fan, when the Chiefs went from a Tampa 2 to a 3-4, some of the personnel translates. You can take your defensive tackles, you make them defensive ends. You take your defensive ends, you make them outside linebackers. DeMarcus Lawrence, I think, would be a perfect 3-4 outside linebacker. That might actually improve his play, but you don't have a zero technique. The guy that plays nose tackle is actually funny because the Chiefs ended up drafting Dontari Poe to play at O technique, which is funny because that's the guy that the Dallas Cowboys signed in free agency, because they signed Dontari Poe and Gerald McCoy this offseason because when Carolina went from a 4-3 to a 3-4, they brought in these two guys to help implement. How did that work? Well, everybody got fired and it sucked. They had one of the worst defenses in the league, but it's going to work here. So, and here's the thing. From what I've gathered, Mike Nolan's going to run the same type of defense. He's just going to coach them up. But then why'd you bring in defensive linemen to fit a 3-4? And then, so here's the drill. You're either having the defensive coordinator run a scheme that he doesn't want to run, or he's going to try to implement a new scheme, or they don't have the personnel. Third round pick Gallimore and last year's second round pick Tristan Hill worked perfect for a 4-3 defense. They're not really good fits for a 3-4. So I don't really get it. And by the way, if you do switch to a 3-4, LVE, he fits. He's multidimensional, and that's a great thing about him. Sean Lee, he would go from outside to inside linebacker. He's done it before. Jalen Smith doesn't fit in a 3-4. So your problem is that if Mike Nolan's going to run a 3-4, you have to change that personnel some more. If he runs a 4-3, well, you brought in a defensive coordinator to run a scheme that he doesn't run. That doesn't make any damn sense. So that's why it's like a square peg in a round hole. I really don't get it, because you have a team that's built one way and you're bringing in both an offense and a defense that's completely different. Now, if you want Mike Nolan to run a Tampa 2, great, that's fine, but that's still a problem. So the second thing I don't like is something I've used before, but bottom line, you got a new head coach, a new coaching staff, and lack of minicamp and OTAs. And again, you have to go by what Mike McCarthy did in Green Bay, but that offense was built around the back shoulder throw. And you did that with Aaron Rodgers. No disrespect to Dak Prescott, you're not Aaron Rodgers. And one thing about the back shoulder throw, you need practice. That's just a repetition thing. All right, that's not a learning the offense. That just takes time. So if you have an offense that you're going to use back shoulder throws and then you don't have mini camps and OTAs, that's automatically an issue. Keep in mind, again, you're bringing in a new scheme on offensive, maybe defensive. I've heard different things. So the lack of mini camps, the lack of OTAs for any new coaching staff, that's always a problem. And then the third thing, and this should be pretty obvious, is that the expectations for a team that's bringing in a completely new offense that's not sold on the quarterback, and possibly a new defense, it's still kind of questionable what they're wanting to do, and a new staff, okay, that's fine. You're doing the right thing. And every team does this. You bring in the foundation, build your team up. Not Dallas. They're bringing in a whole new foundation, but they're expecting to win a Super Bowl this year. Go on social media and find out what Cowboys fans are thinking. You're going to see it. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to do the Vegas over-under. It's actually increased. It's the only team so far that's increased in win total. But why? That's a big question here. If you're a Cowboys fan, and I expect you to give me a thumbs down, I'm expecting to get some hate because I don't see it at all. When you bring in a new system and a new scheme, you're not going to do as well right away. Now, as a Chiefs fan, I know that when Andy Reid took over, they went from 2 to 11 wins. But keep in mind, the defense stayed the same. Andy Reid brought in a defensive coordinator to tweak the defense. You're not tweaking it. You're either rewriting it or you're putting a square peg in a round hole. But bottom line, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm looking at 2021, not 2020 is the year that I'm having at my high expectations. So kind of to recap, the new coaching staff doesn't fit the personnel. So the scheme doesn't fit the personnel. No mini camp, no OTAs for a brand new coaching staff who's going to run in a complex offense, one that needs training camp and OTAs. And finally, expectations. I think the expectations should be tempered, but instead it's just the opposite. Media, fans, and Vegas, which I'm getting to right now, expectations are high. And what I say wait till the end where I talk about the Vegas over under. Here's the thing. It opened up at 9.5, which I thought was higher than it should have been, but it's actually jumped from 9.5. It's currently 10. So right now, and both sides are negative 110. This, I don't know exactly when it jumped from 9.5 to 10, but in May, I took pictures of all 32 teams, and they've all stayed the same. The numbers have fluctuated, and they will fluctuate between now and the start of the season, but no team has jumped up or jumped down in win totals yet, except for the Dallas Cowboys, which went from 9.5 to 10, and it's negative 110 for both the over and under, which means that you have to wager $110 to win 100. And this is usually standard when a betting line changes either up or down. It'll reset at negative 110, or when it's first set in the very beginning, it'll usually stay at negative 110. Then it'll adapt to the betting public. Now, I'm hoping the betting public keeps betting over. That's the reason why it went from 9.5 to 10, because so many people are betting over on the Dallas Cowboys to win more than 10 games. Now, here's the thing. They went 5-1 in the division last year, and it's logically, I messed that whole sentence up. Let me just start over here. They went 5-1 last year in the division. So to say that they're going to go 5-1 this year makes a lot of sense to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 5-1 in the division, but they went 8-8 last year. I'm looking at their schedule, and let's just take a look at the first 4 games. At the Rams, home against the Falcons, at the Seahawks, home against the Browns, and that's before you start division play. Now, if they go 3-1 to start the season, and then because there's no divisional opponents, then I'm looking at, let's just say 5-1. So let's say 3-1, 5-1. You got 8 wins right there. I only need an additional 3 to go ahead and get to my 10. So where am I getting that at? Well, Cardinals, Steelers at home, at the Vikings, at the Ravens, home against the Bengals is 1, and then home game against the 49ers. So I'm not seeing it. So here's the thing. If you are not a fan of, if you're a fan of Dallas Cowboys, you'll probably already put your action down on the over. You probably already give me a thumbs down and hate me, but take the under. This is a no-brainer, by the way. I am going to put action down on Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going to take the under. I'm not sure I'm going to make this a large bet because there's a good chance they're going to go 5-1 in the division. That's strong. All right, so all I got to do is go 6-4 outside the division. But last year they went 3. Well, I'm losing my 3-7. So this year they're going to go 6-4. I don't see it. Smart, be smart. Be smart. Take the under for Dallas. I'm hoping it jumps up to 10.5. I would love it for jump 10.5 because I'm looking at a 500 football team. There's too much change, not enough time or all season to go ahead and get this offense and defense implemented. I'm not really sure what they're going to do on the defensive side of the ball. I think the offense is going to be kind of stagnant. I think it's going to struggle a little bit. That's just what I believe. But I think in 2021, I think 2021 tends reasonable. I may take the over in 2021, but this year I'm definitely taking the under. I am putting action down on the Dallas Cowboys, and I am taking the under. So listen, if you're a Cowboys fan, you already give me a thumbs down. If you haven't already, give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends. Even if I do got to get some hate from the Cowboys fans, that's okay. Hey, listen, tomorrow I am going to break down the Pittsburgh Steelers. So have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow.